is going to be biblical.
Looking for a fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on qresearch or qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. Today in QPost history, we have EO3 deltas and 04 posts that mention today's date of January 24th. There's a video link embedded in QPost North 602, posted on Jan 24, 2018 at 14:39 hours. So I am including it here too, because it's a very important video. It is the famous video entitled, "This Video Will Get Donald Trump Elected," from October 24th, 2016. Archived Q posts can be found at Qualert's app qnon.pub or qnotables.com. God bless all patriots, past, present, and future, who chose, have chosen, or will choose to fight the evil that we are crushing for God and country. Keep up the lawful fight, 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 and I will too.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever's necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefits of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
At shop.isitwaya.com, everything you buy supports Qn.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Qn Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toast or in tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Qn Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wooden pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Qn's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isitwaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Qn.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on QResearch or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q research boards January 24th, 2026, Grok AI exposes Somali fraudsters in Maine. New today, a viral investigation using Grok AI claims to have uncovered extensive fraud schemes tied to Somali-linked organizations in Maine, siphoning taxpayer-funded benefits. The AI-assisted probe allegedly maps shell companies, suspicious billing, and political protection. Critics say this proves how deep the rot goes when government cash flows with little oversight. Why is Somali fraud running rampant in Minnesota and Maine? Analysts are asking why the biggest welfare fraud scandals seem concentrated in Somali enclaves in Minnesota and now Maine. Whistleblowers point to lax vetting, politically connected nonprofits, and officials terrified of being called racist if they demand real audits. The result, they say, is billions looted while taxpayers and genuine refugees both lose. FBI and Somalis AZ Mueller. In Arizona and beyond, federal investigators are reopening old Mueller-era threads involving Somali-linked nonprofits, overseas money flows, and possible terror finance overlaps. Sources say the same community groups that champion sanctuary policies may also be exploiting weak monitoring to move cash and influence. The question now, will the FBI actually follow the trail to the top? Pentagon releases 2026 National Defense Strategy. The Pentagon has rolled out its 2026 National Defense Strategy, built around 4 core lines of effort: deterring great power conflict, defending the homeland, building resilient alliances, and accelerating advanced tech from space to cyber. Defense leaders say the plan is about readiness and lethality, not social experiments, as America pivots from forever wars to big power rivalry. Explosion in Bronx high-rise. In New York City, an explosion ripped through a high-rise building in the Bronx, sending debris into the street and triggering a major emergency response. Early reports point to a possible gas or utility-related blast, but fire marshals are not ruling anything out. Residents are rattled, asking why basic infrastructure in America's biggest city feels like a ticking time bomb. Bakers' Notables. Behind the scenes, citizen bakers are compiling and curating the most important stories the corporate media ignores. Their Notables lists, shared across message boards and social platforms, have become a grassroots newswire surfacing local corruption, whistleblower testimony, and international moves that would otherwise vanish in the daily noise. Tim Walz begs public for cash to fight DOJ subpoena Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz is now begging supporters for money to fight federal subpoenas tied to massive fraud and alleged obstruction around ICE operations. Critics say this looks less like a legal defense and more like a political shakedown, asking taxpayers to fund the defense of the very officials who failed to protect their money in the first place. Car crashes into Detroit Metro Airport Terminal. In Michigan, panic broke out when a driver slammed into the terminal area at Detroit Metro Airport. Authorities say they are still investigating whether this was an accident, an act of rage, or something more sinister. With tensions high nationwide, every incident like this raises fresh concerns about security at major transportation hubs. Kennedy walking with Q through the storm. Online, a flood of memes and commentary shows Robert F. Kennedy Jr. symbolically walking with Q through the storm, a nod to a broader populist rebellion against entrenched elites. Whether viewers buy into the Q lore or not, the imagery captures a real sentiment. Millions of Americans feel they're in a historic showdown with a corrupt ruling class. Death of Colts owner Jim Irsay under federal investigation. The death of longtime Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay is now under federal investigation. Sources say the FBI is probing his medical treatment, heavy drug protocols, and the decisions of his high-profile addiction doctor in the months before he died. For a man who championed mental health and addiction recovery, the circumstances around his own death are raising hard questions. Trump signs Trafficking Survivors. Relief Act at the White House. President Trump has signed the Trafficking Survivors Relief Act, creating a path for victims of human trafficking to clear certain convictions tied directly to their exploitation. Backers say this finally recognizes that many were forced into crimes under threat and deserve a real chance to rebuild their lives without a permanent criminal label. Filibuster has been weaponized. In Washington, both parties now admit the filibuster has been weaponized, but they disagree on who pulled the trigger. Conservatives argue Democrats use it selectively while pushing rules that would permanently tilt the table in their favor. grassroots voters are increasingly demanding a simple standard: either restore honest debate or end the procedural games altogether.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
All reports can be found on QResearch or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Board's January 24th, 2026, Q Post, Learn Russian. An older Q Post, number 566, with the simple phrase, Learn Russian, is back in circulation as Trump pressures NATO over Greenland and the Arctic. Supporters say it foreshadowed today's geopolitical clash over energy, shipping routes, and currency. Whatever viewers believe, the message reflects a shift. The Arctic is now the new front line of global power politics. Dr. Oz finds 400 health businesses in one Minneapolis building. CMS Chief Dr. Mehmet Oz says investigators found roughly 400 supposed Medicaid-related businesses operating out of a single Minneapolis building, generating hundreds of millions in billing. He warns that if Minnesota Governor Tim Walz doesn't clean house, the state could lose federal Medicaid funding altogether. The message: the free ride on federal cash is over. Airlines cancel. Thousands of weekend flights. U.S. airlines have preemptively canceled more than 2,500 flights for Saturday as winter storms slam key hubs. While carriers blame safety and weather, frustrated travelers see a system that has grown brittle after years of staffing cuts, government mandates, and fragile schedules. Many are asking why the most advanced country on Earth can't keep planes moving reliably. Fake asylum claims a multi-billion-dollar industry. Stephen Miller is sounding the alarm that fake asylum claims have become a multi-billion-dollar industry. He points to NGOs, activist lawyers, and cartel networks that coach migrants on magic words to say at the border, turning America's compassion into a cash pipeline, all paid for by taxpayers who never voted for open borders. Representative Harriet Hageman grills Jack Smith. On Capitol Hill, Representative Harriet Hageman hammered Special Counsel Jack Smith over his investigations into President Trump, pressing him on transparency, selective leaks, and political bias. The exchange highlights a growing push in Congress to put the investigators themselves under the microscope after years of one-way accountability. Chip Roy confronts Smith over his own records. Texas Congressman Chip Roy took it a step further, demanding answers on why his own records were reportedly swept up in the Trump probe. Roy says this is proof that special counsels can become unaccountable political weapons, trampling the privacy of lawmakers and citizens while hiding behind secrecy and sealed filings. Did Jack Smith even take the oath? A new controversy is brewing over whether Jack Smith properly took the oath of office before handing down key indictments against President Trump. Legal watchdogs say if paperwork and procedure were botched, it could undermine the legitimacy of some of the most explosive cases in modern political history. Ex-NYPD deputy joins Trump's ICE team. Former top NYPD official Kaz Daughtry has accepted a new role working with Trump's ICE operations in New York. Supporters call it a major upgrade in law and order leadership, bringing big city policing experience to the fight against sanctuary policies. Critics, predictably, are already smearing him for taking the job. Waters torches. Davos elites on Fox. Jesse Waters unloaded on Davos, mocking the billionaires and bureaucrats flying private jets to lecture ordinary people about climate, speech, and disinformation. His monologue framed Davos as the headquarters of a failing globalist class terrified that voters are waking up and turning to leaders who put their own countries first. Silver blasts. Through $100. Hits record $103. On the markets, silver has smashed through the $100 mark, closing at a record high around $103 per ounce. Analysts say investors are fleeing inflation, debt, and political instability,
pouring into hard assets as trust in central banks and fiat currencies collapses. The move is a slap in the face to elites who insisted inflation was transitory. Taxpayer-funded childcare for illegals. New York Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani is promoting taxpayer-funded childcare for illegal immigrants, insisting that all families deserve support regardless of status. Critics argue this is just another magnet for illegal entry and an insult to citizens who struggle to afford care while playing by the rules. Bank of Japan holds at 0.75%, raises growth forecast. The Bank of Japan has kept its key rate at 0.75% while raising economic growth forecasts ahead of a snap election. Markets read the move as a cautious vote of confidence in Japan's recovery, but also a warning that easy money can't last forever. In a world drowning in debt, small rate moves in Tokyo can ripple across global markets. Dan Bongino returns to podcasting. Conservative firebrand Dan Bongino is officially returning to his podcast this Monday after a break from daily broadcasting. He's promising to hit harder than ever on media corruption, government overreach, and the weaponization of federal agencies. His fan base, sidelined by censorship for years, is ready to tune back in. FBI cash, lowest U.S. murder rate in 125 years. Former federal prosecutor Kash Patel says new data show the U.S. murder rate at its lowest level in roughly 125 years, under President Trump. He argues that tough-on-crime policies, mass deportations of criminal illegals, and support for police have saved lives, while soft-on-crime cities still pay the price for failed ideology. DHS urges public to help locate illegals. The Department of Homeland Security is asking Americans to help locate and report illegal aliens who've ignored court dates or removal orders. The agency says cooperation from regular citizens is critical if the law is going to mean anything, especially in sanctuary jurisdictions where local politicians refuse to assist federal enforcement. Convicted fraudster says Walz. Ellison knew a convicted Minnesota fraudster tied to the huge Feeding Our Future scandal now claims Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison were well aware of the widespread grift. If those allegations are backed by documents or testimony, they could transform this from a benefits scandal into a full-blown political corruption case. Mamdani offers childcare for illegals. New York Assembly member Zohran Mamdani is backing taxpayer-funded childcare for undocumented migrants. Supporters call it humanitarian and economically rational. Critics argue it incentivizes illegal entry and diverts public resources away from citizens. New reporting shows NGOs and legal clinics coaching migrants through fraudulent asylum claims, turning border policy into a billion-dollar pipeline. The model relies on taxpayer-funded reimbursements and legal aid subsidies. ICE and DHS officials argue the abuse undermines legitimate asylum seekers and overwhelms federal courts.
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.